Alright, here we are. Outerbike day 3, Sunday. Starting off with the Konas. I'm riding the cross country Hei Hei 29s. I think it's a 120 travel. Over here we got Mr. RA on his, what's this one called?
Process
134. 27.5, so that's kind of his go-to there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get on my cross country Kona. We'll be on this long travel 27. We're gonna see how they do. Let's roll. Yeah, so I didn't actually get any video footage of this bike in particular, but it was a pretty solid bike. I mean, Kona bikes that come in a little bit lower price point, they do have a lot of alloy frames. This is one of them. It's a cross-country bike, 29-inch wheels. Has pretty standard geometry for a cross-country 29er. There's the angles, but it was a pretty good bike. I mean, a little bit heavier because it's made out of aluminum, and you notice that a little bit in the climbing. But one interesting thing to point out, if you see where the seat stay and the chain stay come together, there's actually no pivot point back there. They utilize flex in the frame as part of the geometry there, so it's kind of an interesting little tidbit. You'll notice on the Process that I ride next, it actually has a pivot there, probably because it has more travel as well. I mean, this one's 100 in the rear, and the Process was 134, and they have different versions as well. But I had a good time on the Kona bike. One major thing to point out is that this bike was actually starts at 2,600. I mean, that is a killer deal for a brand new, like, pretty decently equipped mountain bike in today's age. I mean, the other bikes I'm riding out here are carbon frames, of course, but they're $5,000-$6,000. So this is less than half of that. And did I have less than half as much fun? No way, man. I had tons of fun on this bike. I mean, maybe you're not going to climb as fast as your buddies, but going downhill and hitting the bumps and shredding the trails, I mean, this is a pretty solid bike, so check them out. Okay, so that first Kona I rode was a 29er, and I just felt, you know, it was on the straights and the kind of straight downhills, it was good, but then the turning isn't what I really like. I like the 27.5, so I swapped it out with this guy. It's a Process 134. It's 140, 130. So we're going to give this one a shot. I like how the Kona feels so far. So one thing I'm worried about is the weight of this one. This is aluminum, so it's a little bit heavier than the ones I've been riding so far. It's my first alloy bike, the Outerbike here. So we're going to give this one a shot. See how it rides. I like the color. Green is cool. And that buddy over here is on a Jamis hardline. Looking pretty cool. Kind of funky linkage down there. So we're going to ride these babies on the route. Here we go. Wow. The rider's coming behind us. There's Ross up there on the Jamis. The longer reach, which he doesn't like. Check this out. I don't know if other manufacturers do this, but the Kona Process is actually a family of bikes, I guess you could say. There's actually 4 options. There's 27.5-inch wheels, 134 travel, which is one I'm riding. Then there's a 29 with 134. Then there's both a 27 and 29 with 153 travel, which is pretty cool. There's the one I am on right there. It starts at only 3,700, and that's not the bottom of the line. The one to the right, the silver one, starts at only 2,400 for a trail bike. I mean, that was pretty cool. I mean, these are solid bikes. Those are aluminum, of course. Carbon fibers are going to be a lot more. In fact, if you go back to that chart at the very top left, the most expensive Kona Process, carbon fiber, like XTR, everything, I think that bike's $6,000. And that's like the base price to get into some of these other high-end bikes. So it's crazy, but this is a pretty solid trail bike. A standard geometry again for a trail bike. Pretty good angles there. And it rode pretty well. The only issue, again, with this one, it was a little bit heavier because it's alloy. I mean, we're talking like, what, 2-3 pounds max for the whole bike, but you kind of notice it on the hills. Especially me, I'm a lighter, kind of less powerful rider. Airtime. I'm on board the Kona Process 135. 27.5 wheels, 130 rear, 140 front. See how it handles on the downhill. I've dropped down my Kona because I want to watch a video Ross coming down on the Jamis. Part of the fun trails out here at Bar M Trails in Moab. We've been doing this about 8 or 10 times. Having a blast. Woo! Hey. Alright. Back in the saddle. My impression of this bike was that it handled really good. It handled well, climbed good. It was just a little heavier, like I said. But if you don't care about Strava KOM segments or catching big air, I would have to totally consider this bike. It's just because it's such a value. It comes at such a low price point. I had a fun time with it. I like that flat color, that's pretty cool. I like this on the downhills, but it's too heavy for me. Yeah. Which sucks, because this is probably the build I can afford or something like this. You know what I mean?
What about that one?
The Lux, the Canyon?
Yeah.
That was the cross-country bike I took the Navajo Rocks. That I enjoyed. That was a lot lighter.
That one for...
I think there was another Canyon I was going to try though. Because the one I rode was a cross country, like a 29er. Maybe I'll see if they have a 27 for me. These guys are going up to some big trails. Look at my Kona. I don't lose track of what bike I'm riding. I gotta figure it out. So thanks for joining me for another one of these bike adventures. Kona bikes today, a couple of other bikes. Had a good time, heading back into the tents here to see if we can get a couple more in before we take off. Kona next time is an interesting one. You're going to want to check it out. Marin Mount Vision 8. Kind of funky rear linkage. Let's get into that next time. See you then. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your ride. Get out there and get on your wheels. Have a good time.